Arsonist Fire here on The Way of Dharma. I have a very, very interesting topic for you guys tonight, and good morning to those of you who see this in the morning due to time zone reasons. Now, if you have come across the way of Dharma before, you know what we deal with. And if this is your first time on the way of Dharma 108, the way of Dharma 108 is a channel where we talk about spiritual subjects ranging from many traditions of occult and spiritual practice, or rather occultism and spiritual practice. We discuss about magic, we discuss about oriental traditions of practice, we discuss about the Western esoteric systems. Today I'm going to talk about demonic possession and how it happens. First of all, let's talk about the ego. What is the ego? The ego is an identity that the soul needs to take in order to come to earth. Remember, we are souls. What is a soul? A soul is a combination of different spiritual bodies and a physical body. Remember, subtle are our spiritual bodies and physical is our physical body. So the soul cannot be calculated, the soul cannot be measured. We have subtle energy in the form of atoms. I think atoms are the smallest subtle energy or energetic imprints that we have in the human DNA. The soul is much more subtler than even the smallest atoms. It's that subtle, it cannot be comprehended. So the soul in its perfection, the soul in its infinite and eternal nature has to do something in order to come and experience this earthly plane. I'm sorry. Let me see if there's anybody who's in the chat. Okay, no one yet. For those of you who have joined us, please make sure that you do like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Greetings, Muhammad Alam. Yes, so the soul needs to take a form, which is the ego, to bring it to earth, to be able to cohabit or coexist with other human beings. Because it's perfect, it cannot come on its own. So, okay, are you from Indonesia? Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you, sir. I'm from South Africa. And then the ego turns out to be this avatar that we take on this physical plane. So as we grow up, we attain or we obtain a certain identity. Along with that identity, we have a personality that we take, which involves what we like, the way we dress, what we prefer other people to treat us, our likes and dislikes, and many other things that fit into our personality. So the personality is a very, very complex thing, because within the personality, there's four basic influences of the personality, or what keeps the personality to be alive, which is greed, which is responsible for the survival, and there's anger, which is responsible for the survival also, which is responsible for helping you when you are in danger. There's also Mohan or Moha, which is delusions, which helps you with self-importance. And there's lust, which is karma. Karma helps you to reproduce sexually. So these things, they have the chakras in which they reside in, or rather chakras that are responsible for these types of behaviors. For example, for survival, we have the root chakra. Within the root chakra, there's many other basic instincts. And then for reproduction or karma, we have the sacral chakra or the Swadhisthana chakra. And then for this grandeur or this inspiration or this strong will, we have this solar plexus chakra, which is also known as the city of jewels, Shri Maniburaka chakra. And then the other chakra, I think it's for anger, let us attribute it to the root chakra. Or rather, let's say it's of the heart chakra. So we have those basic qualities that help in developing an identity and a personality. Once those characteristics throw us off balance in those chakras, we open doorways to certain entities to have access to influencing us through those chakras. Take this for example. We have different entities residing in our body, and the 7 energetic wheels or 7 wheels of light are in actuality a doorway for influence of higher energies or negative lower energies. So when you have those emotions, the negative emotions, or rather the negative instincts in excess, you open yourself up for the lower vibrational frequency entities influence in your life. So we both have demons and angels residing in our chakras. Once we lose balance and lose control over these energies, then we open way to the negative energies. So now, in the sphere of negative energies and negative entities, we have demons, we have ghosts, we have reptilians. So now my point is, we open ourselves up to these energies, and we also have elementals, the entities that dwell in different elements. So now, what I want to remind you of is that each and every chakra, there's also an element which is responsible for that chakra. For example, the sacral chakra is of the water element. In water, there's also spiritual beings that live in the water element. So automatically, by having that element in your body, in your chakras, you have influence over such beings, and they also have influence over you. The minute you lose control of that chakra, you are susceptible to influence from those entities of the water element. You are susceptible to the reptilians of that element or chakra. So now you have 2 entities trying to have their way through you. So the most important about this is this: we have psychological ailments and psychological disorders, or rather mental illnesses. There's people whom we know as narcissists. Psychologically, they call them narcissists. There's people with personality disorders. Psychologically, they diagnose them to have personality disorders. But spiritually, these people have these entities having influences over them. So what happens in such cases of psychological ailments? We, in our personalities, develop certain aversions in our character. We have more greed, we have more anger, we have more sex and lust, which does what? Which opens us to the influence of these entities, and they possess us. Reptilian beings possess humans through the chakras. Specifically, narcissists are being possessed by reptilian energy. That's why, as a spiritual person, when you are dating or when you are in a relationship, any form of relationship with a narcissist, they seem to know the specific spots to hit in dealing with you and in derailing you and delaying you from your true spiritual purpose. We need to be careful. We are not dealing with fully fledged human beings with souls. As a result, when these entities possess you, you develop different personalities due to different entities inhabiting your chakras and making you to behave in a certain way. And now they call it multiple personality disorder. And now they call it narcissism. And they say you are psychotic or you are a sociopath. These entities, they possess you through those chakras because you open up a doorway to those energies. I've seen it live, I've seen it mano a mano. People who are always angry, people who are always prideful, people who always lust. With lust, I saw it firsthand because I also struggled with lust. Or rather, still struggling with lust, but I don't want to say still struggling because when you say still struggling, you are affirming that it's a continuous thing. And then I've experienced anger firsthand. There's a difference between being upset and having anger. And this I used to struggle with for quite a while. When you are in a relationship with someone who gaslights you, who makes you think that whenever you have a reaction, you are not seeing things clearly. You have these outbursts of being upset, which is temporary because it becomes a one-day thing. You fight and then you get on with your day. However, with anger it's more permanent. It's there to stay. When you are angry as a human being, you harbor a certain resentment energy inside of you, and with anger there's also unforgiveness. You don't forgive easily, so you are just living on the edge, basically waiting to explode, and that is anger. It's a very, very terrible thing to live under the influence of. So anger is when you constantly harbor that negative energy, that hatred, that unforgiving spirit, which opens you up to such entities' possession. We must be careful. We are living among demons. We must be careful. The war is spiritual. In our daily lives, we have people that we call our loved ones. Entities have access to you through these so-called loved ones. I will talk about my experience with such a thing, and I will try to break it down to you on how I finally got myself in such a situation. We are living amongst demons or demonic possessed people. With that being said, if you want to learn more about spirituality or magic, or Hinduism, I also have courses on chanting mantras, activating different mantras. You can contact me at on the email arsonistfire, arsonist.fya@gmail.com. That's arsonist.fya@gmail.com. If you want to send a donation to my PayPal, use the same email, arsonist.fya@gmail.com. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section. I'll try to answer to your satisfaction. We are living among demons. We need to be careful. We need to brace ourselves for the spiritual war. There's a huge spiritual shift or awakening taking place. I don't know what it is, but I can feel it and I see the results of it in my daily life. I'm grateful for you guys for joining me over here. I'm grateful to be a representative of the spiritual people, meaning you and I. I'm grateful to be on this journey. I'm grateful to be able to help and also be helped on this journey. Thank you. Namaste. May you enjoy the rest of your night.